Hey everybody, and welcome back to Empty Pockets Ironworks. For this week's video, we've got something a little different in mind, different than what we normally do. Most of you don't know, because I don't feel it necessary to put out on YouTube all of our personal business as far as my family is concerned. Those of you that know me personally know that we have a child that is handicapped. He has cerebral palsy. He was born with it. He was actually born early at 27 weeks. He was a preemie and spent a good few months in a NICU in a neighboring city, Wichita, which is about an hour and 15 minutes away. He is a very delightful, very enjoyable, very funny kid, and he's been my little buddy for 12 years now. And as a parent of a special needs child, sometimes it's very difficult because there's decisions that have to be made or things that need to be done for the betterment for their care. One of those things occurred yesterday. He actually had to go in for surgery to do some corrective surgery to help his legs. His form of cerebral palsy is spastic cerebral palsy of the lower extremities. He's also mentally delayed, not severely, just slightly, and he's also on the autism spectrum. So this little kid has had a pretty rough life. He's had to wear AFO braces. He still continues to wear AFO braces. He's had all sorts of physical therapy, just all sorts of things to try to help him. And not all of them have always been pleasant. Sometimes those types of things can be, not harmful. They're there to help, but they can be hard on anybody that's trying to stretch things that aren't made to stretch, or because of the abnormalities they can't stretch as far as they need to. He's been towed in, one leg up, extremely hard for him to walk. It hurts his legs. He's got hip rotation. Both hips are turning inward. So the surgery that we had, they actually lengthened his Achilles tendon on the right hand side, and they also went in behind the knees and lengthened both of his hamstrings to try to allow him to be able to stand up. His muscles are so tight, so drawn in, that it was just kind of keeping him compacted and bent, basically, in the legs constantly. And he's a trooper. He really is. He is a fantastic kid. Overall, no complaints. A little backstory for myself: I was actually a single parent for a number of years with him and his older brother. As I've said before, we have a big family now. We're blended. I have two, my wife has two, and then we have one together. So you just learned something new there. With that being said, everybody nurtures Vincent. Everybody kind of caters to him. Everybody always makes sure that he's, included in everything. And so I'm rambling, but it's been a hard decision to go through with the surgery. Surgery was actually yesterday. I don't know when this video is going to be uploaded, but it was on Friday the 13th. It went excellent, but the problem is now he is in knee immobilizers, and he also has a cast on his right leg. Now this is going to be constant for the next 2 weeks. The cast will be on for 6 weeks at least, and the knee immobilizers will have to be worn intermittently for a very long period of time. So, with that being said, we have some things coming up that we need to utilize his wheelchair. But unfortunately now his legs stick straight out. And this wheelchair was built by the CPRF out of Wichita. They're an absolutely wonderful facility, and they have done an amazing job. So, with him being autistic, he is very protective of his wheelchair. So anything that does anything to this, I mean, he almost had a panic attack when they took it back to work on it last time to grow the chair to fit him properly. I had to almost kind of sneak it out of the house to do what I need to do to it. And I bought some hardware and some nylon washers so that there's no scratching of the paint. And I basically want to build a bracket that comes up with a shelf that comes out, put a wood platform on it, probably paint it black so that it matches the chair. And then he has a seat cushion that came off of this chair before they grew it. And I saved it. So we're going to utilize that on the top of this to give him a nice platform so that he can sit comfortably and utilize his chair. To make things a little bit more special, he is obsessed with a lot of things, namely cars, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, Bumblebee from Transformers, and he actually said something that stuck with the wife and I is when he kind of was coming out of the surgery, he was coming to, was a little bit more coherent, and he looked down at his legs with the knee immobilizers and everything else. He said that he was like a transformer, that he had transformed. And so I'm going to attempt to cut out a transformer emblem and put it somewhere on the chair, probably on the bracket on the front. And I want to make it in a way that it can be removed later because this isn't a permanent fixture, and then he can hang it up in his room. So, like I said, different from our normal videos, not going to be a whole lot of blacksmithing. I'm not even sure how I'm going to go about doing this. So, I know, very long entry. I really appreciate you all, and let's get started. Okay, so I know when he's sitting here, his legs are going to come out, and he does have a little bit of flex in him. I mean, as far as like where his hips are concerned. So I don't want him straight out like a board. I'm thinking somewhere along in this angle here, we'll give him just a little bit of a drop, allow for compression of the seat, and put him in a comfortable position. I do plan on making this in a manner that when it's all said and done, if I need to modify it to make it a little bit more comfortable for him, I can. It will be welded and welded solid, but I want to make it so that it can be easily manipulated if need be. Now, as I said before, I'm going to utilize these bolt holes, 2 on each side. These pass all the way through. I will use some nylon washers on these so that I do not compromise the chair or scratch the paint job that Vincent had picked out. He's pretty proud of his orange wheelchair. Okay, so now that we have both of our brackets done, of course we still got to drill the holes. The uprights on the chair itself, the footrests, they actually have a little bit of give to them because the center of the frame is not fixed. It actually has a X frame underneath of it. So I want these to be able to flex in the back. So the cross brace for these, which equals out to be 14 inches, is actually going to get welded across the front. Bye.